Look at this. An entire city baking under a lethal 45-degree sun, while one single roof remains sitting at a crisp 18 degrees. No power grid, no air conditioning. Before they achieved this, the family inside was trapped in a suffocating oven, staring at a $6,000 repair bill they simply could not pay. But instead of going into debt, they did something crazy. They climbed onto their roof and covered it in an experimental, ultrawhite barium sulfate compound. A formula that doesn't just block sunlight. It literally throws the heat from their home through a hidden atmospheric window straight into the freezing vacuum of outer space, saving their family, bypassing the grid, and proving that the solutions the industry hides from you are simpler than you think. Let's go back to the beginning, to the hottest summer Phoenix had ever seen. The asphalt was literally melting under the tires of parked cars. The thermometer on the porch of the Harris family home read an agonizing 46 degrees Celsius, or 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside, things weren't much better. You know that feeling when the air in your house becomes so thick and stagnant, it feels hard to breathe? That was the reality for Mark and Sarah Harris, along with their 2 young children. They were trapped in a suffocating oven. Their central air conditioning unit, the only thing standing between them and heat stroke, had just catastrophically failed. When the technician arrived, the diagnosis was a death sentence for their summer budget. $6,000. $6,000 for a complete system replacement that they simply did not have. You might be thinking that they were out of options, doomed to suffer, or go into crippling debt. But what if I told you the solution to their nightmare didn't require electricity at all? What if the answer was hiding in a simple can of paint? As you listen to this story, you'll begin to realize just how fragile our modern reliance on the power grid really is. The HVAC industry wants you to believe that the only way to stay cool is to pump massive amounts of electricity into complex, breakable machines. They sell you the sickness and the cure. But there is a secret they don't want you to know about. TM, a concept that sounds like science fiction, yet it on TM. Grounded in the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Imagine your roof acting as a portal, a direct window to the infinite freezing void of outer space. It sounds crazy, right? But the Harris family was desperate enough to try anything. Mark stumbled upon a research paper detailing an experimental compound. A paint so white, so reflective, that it didn't just bounce sunlight away. It actually beamed heat directly into space, bypassing the Earth's atmosphere entirely. This is called Radiative Sky Cooling. And Itaw TMS, about to change everything you thought you knew about keeping your house cool. Think of your current roof like a sponge. Dark shingles soak up the brutal summer sun, storing that thermal energy and radiating it down into your attic, and eventually into your living room. Your air conditioner then has to fight a losing battle against this constant influx of heat. It RTMs like trying to bail water out of a sinking boat with a leaky bucket. But what if you could change the nature of the boat itself? The paint Mark discovered relied on a very specific concentration of barium sulfate. Barium sulfate is a chemical compound that has an incredibly unique property. It is highly reflective across the solar spectrum, meaning it absorbs almost zero heat from the sun. But its true magic lies in how it interacts with infrared radiation. You see, heat is just infrared light, and our atmosphere has a sort of window, a specific range of infrared wavelengths that it doesn't absorb. The barium sulfate paint is engineered to emit heat exactly at these wavelengths. Imagine throwing a rock through an open window. Instead of hitting a wall and bouncing back into the room, the rock sails cleanly outside. That is exactly what this paint does with the heat from your house. It throws the heat through the atmospheric window, straight into the deep freeze of outer space, where the temperature is absolute zero. When Mark painted his roof with this brilliant white coating, the results were not just noticeable, they were scientifically miraculous. In the dead of a Phoenix afternoon, with the sun beating down mercilessly, their roof was actually cooler than the ambient air temperature. While their neighbors' roofs were baking at 70 degrees Celsius, the Harris's roof sat comfortably at 18 degrees Celsius. Let that sink in. It was cooler than the air around it. In direct sunlight, using absolutely zero power. You can probably imagine the shock on the neighbors' faces. The Harris family didn't just survive the heat wave. They thrived. Their indoor temperatures plummeted to a comfortable level, and they didn't have to spend a single dime on electricity to do it. They bypassed the greedy HVAC industry, the overpriced repairmen, and the fragile power grid. This isn't just about saving money. It's about taking back control. It's about realizing that the solutions to our modern problems might not always be more technology, more electricity, or more debt. Sometimes, the most elegant solutions are the simplest ones. As you consider the rising costs of energy and the increasing unpredictability of our climate, you have to ask yourself, are you prepared to keep playing by their rules? Or are you ready to look up at the sky and harness the cold vacuum of space? The implications of this are staggering. Entire cities could be cooled. The urban heat island effect could be reversed. The strain on our power grids during peak summer months could be drastically reduced, preventing blackouts and saving lives. Yet, you don't see this paint on the shelves of your local hardware store. Why? Because it disrupts a multi-billion-dollar industry. It gives power back to you, the homeowner. But the secret is out. And as you picture your own home, Imagine what it would feel like to cut your cooling costs to zero. To know that no matter how hot it gets outside, your home is silently, passively beaming its heat into the cosmos. The Harris family found their escape hatch. Now it's time for you to find yours. Watch closely, because the future of home engineering isn't in a factory. It's in a bucket of paint. End of narration. Pause. Final logo, outro.